shocked, but every team has to protect themselves. And Russell Wilson, maybe I'm twisting a little bit, but Russell Wilson could be on the hot seat next year because the Broncos reportedly will look for an exit strategy if Russell Wilson plays bad again and just has the abysmal season. I'm not even going to pull up his numbers and go through that pain of reading them because we know that it was by far the worst season he's ever had in his career. But I'm very shocked, and you guys tell me as well, that the Broncos are willing to be this bold after one bad and really anomaly season of Russell Wilson's career. And Sean Payton coming over in the offseason. I get it. That pick turned into Brian Bresee for the New Orleans Saints, a player they really needed. But it was a late first-round pick for a legendary coach in Sean Payton. And it's not because I'm a fan. It's because I witnessed what he did. And if you look at his record, you understand the effect that he has on really one team, of course, in New Orleans. But I believe he'll be able to duplicate it, not exactly in Denver. I believe he'll be able to win a Super Bowl there for sure. But it might take a little time. So to know that, again, Russell Wilson's brought over in a major trade. It was multiple firsts, multiple seconds, multiple players. Huge record-breaking deal. Some of the most guaranteed money we've ever seen. One of the fattest contracts in NFL history. We know the financial turmoil that the Broncos now, hindsight 2020, have gotten themselves into with Russell Wilson. And if you look at the dead cap hit that the Broncos will actually take if Russell Wilson gets, moved off of. So the way the contract is written, they have a potential out in 2026. It would finalize as 4 years, $161 million, $31.2 million in dead cap after 2025. But if they were to have an out after the 2023 season, because Russ's big money didn't hit, well, he's got to actually, no, I take that back. His dead cap is major, all of the years that he's with the Broncos. But his big base salary doesn't kick in until 2025, and then he would get a lot of his base salary in 2027 and 2028 with 44 and 50 million respectfully. Big dead cap hit at the beginning, 124 million last year, 107 million this year, goes down every year. Of course, in 2028, he'll only have a 4.4 million dead cap hit. But if the Broncos wanted to get out of this after this year, you're looking at 107 million in dead cap this year. 124 million in dead cap that already happened last year. And he would be set for another 85 million in dead cap in 2024. 49.6 million dead cap in 2025. And like I said, there's the potential out in 2026 for the contract. To know that to know the haul that the Broncos gave up, to know the offseason that they've had, to know the coach that they just brought in, to know the Super Bowl roster that they're still sitting on. And again, I get it. I get it. Every roster has to protect themselves. The NFL's a business, right? The moment they signed Russell Wilson, they probably were having slight talks about his replacement. They tell you that in the NFL for a reason. The year you're drafted, your replacement was probably drafted the same year, or however it plays out. But the dead cap hit would be insane. The haul that they gave up for Russ was insane. And if they were to find that exit strategy, it would just be a major bullet that they would have to take, and really that they would have to eat at this point, because Russell Wilson, again, it was an anomaly season. This is not something we're going to see of Russell Wilson. And damn it, if y'all aren't going to make me pull up the stats from Russ so I can go out and defend him. Last year, he had 3,500 yards, 16 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. His last season in Seattle, which wasn't even his best, really, outside of the 2014 and the 2014 and damn, I just saw it. Really the 2014 season, and then kind of comparable numbers. Really, his first 3 years in the league, and then the 2016 season as well. 25 touchdowns, 6 picks in his final year, 2021 with Seattle. Year before that, 40 touchdowns, 13 picks. 100-plus passer rating 4 straight years from 2018 to 2021. 31, 40, and 25 touchdowns his final 3 years with the Seahawks. 34 touchdowns the year before. It's not even all about numbers for Russell Wilson, because we've seen what he can do on the field. We know that he is that, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow-esque type of quarterback before he played like this in 2022. People forget it's just like with Deshaun Watson. Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson have a good of chance as anybody next season. And if you want to get super picky outside of the Chiefs and the Bills, and maybe if you want to compare it to Joe Burrow, after that, they have a chance to run for being some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we just seem to forget that because of one bad season with Russell Wilson. And of course, I threw Deshaun Watson in there as well because that is another quarterback that's just getting slept on. And I'm a big believer in the Browns next year. I'm a big believer in the Broncos for next year. Talked about it earlier in the season. And I believe in the roster again. I believe in Sean Payton that's coming in. They've got a great recipe for success. But to know that, again, team was sold last year, new quarterback, rookie head coach is gone. Apparently, there's an exit strategy now in place if Russ plays bad again, and you've brought Sean Payton in. So it would just be a major, major L for Denver to take. And when you look, okay, let's say they move off Russell Wilson, right? Who are you going for? You're not going to be bad enough to compete for Caleb Williams or probably even Drake May. You know, like every free agent quarterback got tied up this offseason. You know, Justin Herbert's going to get paid. Joe Burrow's going to get paid. Jalen Hurts got paid. Patrick Mahomes isn't going anywhere. Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers already moved. Like Matthew Stafford's not going to be grabbable. Tom Brady's out of the league. Everyone else in the NFC's got their quarterback. The Giants have their guy. Maybe Kirk Cousins because he's going to be towards the end of a deal and he could come and play for the Broncos. But who else would the Broncos turn to if or when they move off of Russell Wilson? They can't be in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. They're not going to be that bad. It's a Super Bowl caliber roster. They're just going to be too good. And every free agent quarterback got locked up this offseason. So definitely thought it was interesting to think or to know that the Broncos will look for an exit strategy. Well, it's not interesting to know because, again, the NFL's a business. Everyone has to set it out. But if Russell Wilson, you know what? Let me just back up on it. It's clear that this last season was bad enough to scare the owners that much. Because the owners, I mean, you know, the team, again, exit plan, like exit strategy. Okay. It was that bad. It looked that bad. It smelled that bad. It felt that bad. And it shocks me of how much of an L it would be for a very, very promising Broncos team. Because when I look at teams like the Vikings, when I look at teams like the Colts, when I look at teams like the Cardinals just a couple seasons ago, look at a team like the Texans before they blew the playoff lead against Patrick Mahomes a few years back. I don't want the Broncos to be one of those teams where they've got big potential and they've got the players in place, but they make one or two wrong moves and it goes down the drain. Like when the Vikings lost a lot of their defensive players, or when the Colts roster just seemed to fall apart and they really never to be able to nail the quarterback position. I'm not recalling the other teams I just named, unfortunately, but I don't want the Broncos to be one of those teams because I know they have a lot of potential. This is a team that can win a Super Bowl. Not this year. If they did this year, I'm not shocked. I've been saying it. Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are going to bring new elements out of each other in great ways.